Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review of The Real Housewives of Potomac, y'all. Season 6, Episode 8. Child, these heifers is into it again. Child, we're going to get into it as we get into it. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade. If you are back for a second or third time, then child, welcome back. Listen, y'all, I really need for you to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you get anything out of the content. All right, child, let's get into it. If we're going to get into it, honey, we ain't got no time to waste. So when the episode first opens up, last week, Wendy cleared the girls, right? So we hear Wendy, honey. Wendy clunks on into the room in her big old heels. As Gizelle says, she needs some rice or something to go with the read of it all. Baby, she done got red and now she hungry, child. So Robyn is sitting on the couch because the food gets there. So Gizelle is like, look, I'm going to eat. And so she takes the food into the kitchen. Well, Robyn is sitting on the couch and she's saying to herself, acting nutso, child, like, what is wrong with you? She's like, who cares? Why are you mad? If it's not true, then it's not true. Oh my God, child. Okay, apparently Robyn is drunk as a skunk. Robyn, honey, you and the voices in your head need to hush. You went down under to the Aussie restaurant or whatever to go off on Ashley in the midst of her serving people kangaroo meat. So, I don't understand why you're sitting on the couch saying these things to yourself when you did the exact same thing. Remember you and Gizelle rolled up on Ashley? I had to refresh my own memory because I was like, wait a minute. Robyn done been into it as she got into it before about her man as well. Honey, all of you have. That is a sensitive subject with the exception of Gizelle, honey. She just let people railroad Jamal and she just sits there and takes it. Child, she let them put that man's phone number out into the world. Child, I am done. So anyway, so they come on in to sit down with their food, right? So Robyn looks at Gizelle and she was like, are we mad at Ashley? No, Gizelle is the one that put the battery in her back. And do you need Gizelle's permission to be mad or tell her who you can be friends with this week? Like, I'm not understanding why you're asking if you're going to be mad with Ashley. Let me tell you something, Robyn. You're starting to get on my nerves, honey. I'm speaking directly to you. Now, I'm not just going to jump on the Robyn hate train. Is Robyn a cornball? Absolutely. Does Robyn follow behind Gizelle like a sidekick does? Absolutely. Does Robyn have her own personality? Absolutely not. But child, let me say this. Robyn, honey, okay, I know that you and Gizelle are friends in real life. You've bonded over having the same eye color and the same skin color and the same whatever color. Okay, we got it. But at the same time, honey, you are allowed to be friends with the other girls outside of Gizelle. It's okay. And if Gizelle decides to stop being your friend because you're friends with someone that she doesn't like, then guess what? That's not really your friend. Okay? Because this is given very much elementary school. Now, I understand if I don't like the heifer and you my best friend and we don't like the heifer together. I get you. But at the same time, honey, now you're asking permission and wondering who we can and cannot be friends with. It's giving crazy at this point. Child, let's move forward. Moving forward. So, Gizelle just sitting there, honey, because we all know she the one that started the mess in the first place. So they sit around the crickets smacking on this food, even though Wendy didn't want to break bread with Gizelle, right? And let me tell y'all something. This is the most awkward dinner ever. Honey, it's a mess. But you know what I did appreciate? What I did appreciate about this scene and about Potomac is them sitting wherever and eating wherever, okay? Because, most of the time they try to pull it together and go sit at these dining room tables. Honey, they didn't go sit at the dinner table like nothing happened. They sat on down wherever the plate landed. That's where they sat down and that's where they ate, baby. This was a real scene and I loved every second of it, silence and all. I would have to take my wings and go though, child, okay? I would have to take my Chinese food and hit the road, baby, back to the cottage, because it is no way I could sit in complete silence. Let me tell you something about me. I love to enjoy my food. I love to indulge in my food. If my stomach's upset about some foolishness that's happening around me or you say something to upset me, I'm not going to be able to enjoy my Chinese ribs extra sauce. Like, I'm not going to be able to enjoy it. Egg roll, none of that. Fried biscuit, I'm not going to be able to get into it as I get into it. So for me, I would have to take my food and roll. But that's just me. So Robyn is like, Ashley just dropped the bomb and then got her breast milk and rolled out. She's like, what did she say to her? I'm trying to figure out what she said. She is pissed at everything. Okay, Robyn, she's just not pissed about what Ashley said to her. She's pissed about what Gizelle said. She's mad at y'all for gaslighting her at that lunch, talking about her being a thought pocket because she's wearing more revealing clothing. Honey, it was pent up frustration. This is everything, and it just came out. Okay, I'm just telling you like it is. You were in the crossfire because you spoke up, speaking your speech, honey. You piping up at the wrong times. So therefore, and thus and such, I mean, you had to get gathered. Moving forward. After agreeing to sit on the couch and eat, honey, Wendy was like, I'm full. I'm ready to roll. So then the three stooges pack up their doggy bags and get ready to roll back to the cottage. So they getting ready to go to the door. Everybody saying goodbye. Goodbye, y'all. Good night. See you in the morning. Honey, once again, Ascala is taking too long, so they close the door in her face. Child, you got to be quicker than that. Child, you tiptoeing. You better get to that door. Honey, these helpers will close that door in your face in a minute. As soon as they leave, here go Robyn. She starts piping up, speaking her speech. Candace is like, Wendy is very sensitive, okay? Gizelle is like, well, that's not my interpretation of her. And then they flash back to when she was going off on Ashley. So Gizelle is trying to figure out which one is the real Wendy. Please stand up. Please stand up. Please stand up. Shout out to Eminem. Honey, they're just trying to figure out which is the real one. But this is what I want y'all to understand. Wendy just got to know y'all last year. So this may be who the real person is. And why are we trying to figure it out? Like, who cares? Why are we playing Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? I don't give a damn who the real Wendy is. I really don't care. Honey, she got the new boobs. She got the new butt. She like it. I love it. Let's move forward. In the next scene, back at the cottage, the ladies change into their robes, right? So Karen said, you know, that Gizelle, she likes to give anal with no lube, child. She ain't say it like that, but y'all know I like to zhuzh it up. She basically said that, you know, Gizelle likes to give it to you from the back without permission. And she feels like she can speak on your life, but you better not speak on hers. I mean, that's the truth. I ain't gonna debate you, Karen. That is the truth. But Karen, you sure are making a lot of sexual innuendos this season, girl. Okay. Back over at the estate, Candace is telling the ladies that everyone doesn't respond the same way that they do. And everybody has triggers, and Eddie might be a trigger for Wendy, right? So Gizelle is like, well, she shouldn't be in this group because what is she gonna do? Crumble every time somebody says something? Gizelle always trying to remove anybody that makes her uncomfortable. Girl, keep your mouth off of people's family and you wouldn't have these problems. You did the same thing last season. So then Candace said, well, you know, I think Wendy is in her cottage now, and she is. And then Gizelle said, crying on Karen's shoulder. See, this is why I hate Karen says she made Wendy cry, because it's fueling her. She thinks she has power over Wendy's emotions. As soon as they said that, then they show her crying. Here go Wendy doing the most dramatic cry she could muster up. She's like, he's such a good man. He's a good man, Savannah. I'm sorry. I do not mean to laugh, but honey, oh God. Baby, the dramatics of it all. Child, what are you crying about? Honey, you read Gizelle down, and if you know your man ain't cheating, you should be in peace, not pieces. Honey, I'm not understanding it. She's like, oh God, oh God. So then Karen gets up to go get a piece of paper towel. Child, a whole time Ascala looking confused. Child, she stay in a state of confusion. This is just hilarious to me. I'm sorry. So then Ascala gets up. She goes over there to comfort Wendy. And I'm like, child, this is a mess. Meanwhile, back over here at the estate, Robyn is like, she could have responded two ways to Ashley. She could have said, Ashley, thank you for coming to me with this information. Or she could come in and cuss me out for no reason. First of all, Ashley and Wendy don't have a great past. Okay, it's the wrong messenger. I don't know why Gizelle sent her in there, honey. She knew exactly what she was doing. Second, girl, you and your robe inserted yourself, talking crazy, gone off that whiskey, and became collateral damage. She was like, you know, the stuff she said, it just showed me how she really felt about me. Meanwhile, Wendy is still crying, and she says she's disappointed in Robyn. Ascala is like, yeah, I mean, she's different when she's with Gizelle. Yes, honey, she seeks her approval and her guidance. It's really sad. And I am so serious. I mean, it is really, really a sad sight to see. So then Ascala gets her first confessional. Girl, you're looking like a bomb. Girl, when I tell you look good in red. Yes, ma'am. She said Robyn has a really strong loyalty to Gizelle. And even when she's wrong, she's still going to defend her. She said, but I guess that's a good friend. Honey, is it or is it a minion? Child, that's a blind loyalty. Let me tell you something. If you have a friendship that you can't keep it real and say to this person, you were wrong for that. Okay, I really don't appreciate how you coming, honey. It's giving very much weirdo. I mean, if you can't tell your friend that's not the way that you should behave, are you really friends? Or are you their minion? Like, I mean, let's sit on that. Moving forward. In the next scene, Gizelle is trying to figure out what is happening with Robyn. She said, I got a question. Why when Wendy told you to go F yourself, you start doing this? And, you know, she started pointing to her vagina and whatnot. Gizelle is trying to figure out why Robyn was doing that while getting ate up by Wendy. Robyn was like, I don't give up. Well, honey, that's obvious, child. We already know that. So after Gizelle digested her ribs and that whiskey, nothing tops off a good read like hitting the hay. Honey, she was like, I need to go to bed. Gizelle was like, I'm tired. Honey, they done wore me out with the read. I need to go stretch out, honey. Child, Gizelle was like, I'm going to go to sleep now. You know what? I have never seen a person take a verbal beating and act as if nothing happened. Baby, that skin tougher than Rubbermaid. When I tell you Gizelle will take a read and go ahead and go to sleep and get right back up the next day like nothing happened, that is a special skill. Honey, I ain't mad at it. Of course, you know, Robyn got to go to bed because Gizelle is going to bed and hang upside down like the bat that she is. Over at the cottage, Wendy gets in bed, honey, because she cannot take too much more and calls Idris to tell him something went down. Hey, Idris. Moving forward. It's the next day. Everybody is getting up. Robyn calls Juan. He's like, what's up? Child, he be so nonchalant and unbothered, child. It is so funny. She's like, how is life without me there? Honey, the same. You wasn't doing nothing when you was there and you ain't doing nothing now. But sleeping. But he knew they were filming, so he said, you know, we miss you. Child, please. She's like, are you waking the boys up a little earlier? Child, okay, whatever. Let's move on. Candace FaceTimes with Karen and she's asking if she can get her makeup done in the White House. Well, honey, you are being sworn in, so I guess it's only fitting. Wendy can't go right now because, you know, she has to do her whole television segment and whatnot. Gizelle is in the pool and Ascala and Karen get there and Karen heads upstairs to get her face beat, right? So she tells the other ladies, you know, Wendy gonna be here a little later, as if they care, child. You could have really kept it to yourself because they quiet as it's kept. They were probably hoping Wendy wasn't gonna show up at all, but that's just me. So they pan back over to Wendy, and Wendy is now in her political commentator bag. Honey, let me tell you something. You know what? You know what I respect about Wendy this season is that now she's able to turn it off and turn it on. You know, she has a lot of different sides to her, and there's nothing wrong with that, honey. I love to see it. Who wants a one-dimensional person? Robyn, moving forward. Ascala is out by the pool, and Gizelle is asking about Wendy, honey, trying to take her temperature and whatnot. Ascala is like, well, you know, y'all need to talk. She's much calmer than yesterday, but you basically started it yesterday. She said, no, I didn't. Ashley started it. Ashley behind did your dirty work, and she left you there to get lit up. That's exactly what happened. In the next scene, over at Growing Up Darby, Ashley, bomb dropping behind, is there with the cuties, honey, with the two kids, just sitting there being a mom and whatnot. And the fact that she started all of that mess and is at home right now in her PJs holding her baby, rocking them back and forth with the breast milk of it all, baby, that was sending me. Do y'all hear me? Honey, she started all this mess. She ain't called back to see what's happening. Child, she didn't try to see if everything got smoothed over. Nothing. She started the mess, and now she's over here rocking her baby back and forth. Honey, drop the bomb. Rock-a-bye, baby. It is something truly wrong with them, child. Something is wrong. She said, you know, as much as she liked stirring the pot, she's happy to be cleaning up instead of starting if y'all know what I mean. She said she really missed her babies. So then Michael comes in on cue as they're filming. Child, knowing he was waiting outside the door. I'm like, oh my God, how does he mysteriously come through the door each and every time y'all filming? Boy, goodbye. So he comes in on cue, giving Ashley a newly engraved ring. Honey, probably I'm guilty or I'm sorry ring. Child, I ain't trusting nothing about Michael. Do y'all hear me? So Ashley was like, you know, I know Michael has had a shady past, honey, and has. She said, you know, so to see him stepping up is uncharted territory. Sure, okay. They're having a conversation about her stitches while the nanny is standing there completely uncomfortable. Ma'am, you can go. Child, go relieve this lady of her duties. She does not want to see you and Michael exchange jewelry and talk about the stitches in your whatnot. Child, this is a fool. The rest of the ladies come down and Gizelle is still in that pool. Girl, get on out of that pool. So Robyn comes down. Her and Ascala, they embrace, finally remembering that they're friends. I'm like, child, I had to be reminded how you got in this group. But it's nice to see you guys bonding. So Robyn is like, I know they all talking about me all kinds of trash over at that other house. Girl, ain't nobody worried about you, Rob. So Ascala was like, when Wendy went in, you immediately came to Gizelle's defense. She said, what are you talking about? Exactly what she said. When Wendy went in, you immediately went to Gizelle's defense. Girl, keep up. So Gizelle is like, listen to me. Me and Robyn think differently all the time on a ton of stuff. I know I'm super messy and super shady, and Robyn calls me out on it. Well, honey, I'm happy you're owning the character that you play on the show, but Robyn ain't called you out a day in her life. The closest thing she got to it is when you acted a fool at her open house event. And she was contemplating not saying nothing then. So again, Robyn says that she was shocked that Wendy took a jab at her so-called non-relationship. Listen to me. Wendy just repeated what she heard on Twitter and the blogs because you got in the way of her annihilating Gizelle. That's just what it boils down to. I don't really think Wendy believes that Juan and Robyn have a non-existent relationship. She hears everybody talking. Everybody on the Twitter is saying that Juan ain't gonna never marry Robyn, and she just repeated it. Child, that's just what happened. Wendy gets there, and Gizelle said, Wendy, it's good to see you. Child, Wendy playing her complete dust. Do y'all hear me? She's like, I would like to talk to you whenever you're ready. Not your braids, but to you. Honey, Wendy refused to engage. So then she gonna say, Wendy is acting very high school. No, you playing telephone and spreading cheating rumors is very 10th grade of you, honey. Had you taken it to the woman, we wouldn't be in this place. Girl, get real. Gizelle is being paid dust, so she asked Ascala if she wanted to join them for tennis. In the next scene, we see them talking about Mia's tattoo, honey. I'm sure later on she's going to claim she don't have any tattoo and would never deface her body. Child, you know how she is. I don't buy nothing that Mia says ever, okay? So they started talking about her C-section, and she said with her first C-section, her son was upside down and had the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck 3 times. Lord, listen to me. The things we go through to give birth, honey, anything could go wrong. She said, while she was bringing life into the world, her husband at the time was across the street at the club. Mia, were there strippers or entertainers at this club? I just want to know, child. She said he came to the hospital and hooked up his PlayStation. Girl, what kind of hood man you with? Carrying around a PlayStation to hook up while you giving birth and whatnot. Child, oh my goodness. Men can be so trifling sometimes. Child, let me tell y'all a story time. It's not really a story time. Child, it's okay. My soon-to-be ex-husband was out cheating when I went into labor. Let me tell y'all how it went down. It's actually what sent me into labor, if we want to be real. Okay? So I called his phone because he had been gone all day. I hear, hello. I said, Barbara, this is Shirley. No, just kidding. But I was like, did I dial the wrong number? So, baby, the side chick answered. So I'm losing it. I'm cussing. Baby, I'm throwing all the clothes over the balcony. I'm losing my whole mind, okay? Ended up sending myself into labor. So I called my best friend. I'm like, girl, the contractions are coming every 2 seconds. Girl, I got to get to the hospital. So my best friend drove me to the hospital. And he got there as I was about to push. Child, 4 pushes and my baby was out. Honey, and that's what happened to me. So, child, that's just a little bit of my story. It wasn't a C-section and whatnot. But, child, I felt like I had to insert because we were talking about the trifling men of it all. And then Robyn lets us know that Juan missed Carter's birth. Now, honey, you want to have a whole nother baby, but you weren't even there for one of your baby's deliveries. And then Robyn was saying that it was because their relationship was in shambles at the time. She's like, if I do have another baby, he'll get to redeem himself. And I remind him of that all the time. Child, this is a fool. In the next scene, Candace plugs her music and tells the heifers she needs some background dancers for her video. So they have to show the video vixen in them. Honey, this gonna be a fool. Upstairs, Karen is taking pictures of her fresh beat, honey, posing for the gram and whatnot. The ladies break up into groups, and Robyn is getting her 5, 6, 7, and 8 on with Gizelle and Mia. And she tells us she was in the Bad Boy for Life video. Now I gotta go and watch the video again to find out where's Waldo. Honey, I'm like, okay, we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now, cause it's bad boy for life. Shout out to Diddy. I was like, oh, okay, y'all. So they rehearsing over here, and then, you got Ascala and Wendy, they rehearsing on the other side. So now it's time for Potomac's Got Talent. Gizelle and her little friends, they go first, honey. Mia, the entertainer, did her little twerk and whatnot. Then it was Wendy, her new body, and Ascala, and they got an A for effort. Side note, okay? Drive Back is a bop. Okay, Kleenex Candace, honey, you got a hit on your hands. I love it. So then the Grand Dame did her little move. Child, Gizelle gonna say, is this what Ray gets? I'm gonna have to send Ray a stripper. I feel sorry for him. Child, let me tell you something. You do not have to send Ray no stripper. Ain't nothing happening in that bed between Karen and Ray. Honey, and can't nobody convince me otherwise. Child, they are not hunching. Child, I said what I said and I ain't changing it. And I love me some Grand Dame. But honey, I just gotta call a spade a spade. Moving forward, Candace announces the winner, and it's Karen. I'm like, oh, Candace got a little soft spot for Karen still, because y'all ain't no way that Karen should have won that competition, okay? She's like, well, y'all all invited to drive back, so don't worry about it. You're a video pro, and you're a video pro. Here go Robyn. I already been one already. Okay, Robyn, honey, we know it's a major accomplishment, honey, but the same way you put all that energy into the little dance you just made up, make sure you have that energy to go home and give those kids about their grades. In the next scene, it's time for the Queen of Surrey to be sworn in. Karen gonna take 2 of the cast members if she don't do nothing else. I'm like, baby, Karen gonna make sure she takes some castmates, honey, so y'all can know where she came from and where she going. In the next scene, the other ladies are about to go get their Wimbledon on. It's Ascala and Candace versus Gizelle and Robyn, okay? So they start playing, and the loser has to rub the winner's feet. Of course, Ascala and Candace lose. So the ladies arrive in Surrey, right? Ray shows up with some flowers for his bride, and her sister is there, her aunt, just her family. It's a small COVID-safe ceremony. So Karen goes up to give a speech in honor of her late parents. So then Ray goes up. Now I'm thinking, Ray gonna get up there and say something, sweet to Karen. He did tell her, I'm so proud of you. Shout out to Drake. But then he says, what did you tell him, babe? I'm like, why is this the appropriate time to say this? So Karen goes, oh yeah, we're going to be doing an expansion with LaDame. We're going to go into candles and aromatherapy for home goods. I'm like, what? Baby, the look on Wendy's face. Oh, child, when I tell y'all I hollered. Because Wendy was looking totally shocked. Karen, seriously. Wendy was like, well, Karen didn't say anything about it when I told her about my candles. Karen goes, well, it wasn't about me then. And her candles are 1 wick and mine is 3 wicks. So it covers a greater area, if you will. Karen, girl. Honey, I don't care if it's 1 wick, 3 wick, or air wick. You never mentioned that to Wendy. You could have said something. It's giving Stallion Booty DVD, Kenya Mortiz, ma'am. Like it's a fool. Wendy, what you gonna say about that? Or you just gonna focus on Gizelle? Moving forward. Back at the court, the green-eyed bandits got their little piggies out thinking they're about to get their foot rubbed, but Candace and Ascala was like, no ma'am, honey, you're gonna get a little sprinkle of water from this water bottle, but we are not about to put our hands on your feet. Honey, y'all better put those feet up. It's COVID outside. Ain't nobody touching y'all funky feet. So Candace was like, okay, so how are we going to sit at a dinner table, all of us? I mean, all of you heifers are into it. Gizelle, you into it with Karen and Wendy? And she's like, and look, this is what she said in her confessional. She said, but me, I'm just sitting back, honey, because it doesn't involve me for once. Honey, I know that's right. Don't it feel good to be free? You ain't in no foolishness. She said, Robyn, you have an association beef with Wendy. Gizelle was like, no, Wendy was very offensive to Robyn. See, here y'all go, honey. One speak for the other, pinky in the brain. Robyn was like, well, when you say things like that, I feel like that's how you really feel. I know who's not invited to my bridal shower, who's not invited to my wedding. Girl, reel it in, okay? Get a date first. You and Juan might not even be invited at this rate. Child, go ahead. Candace is like, you heifers just need to sit separately. We don't need any green-eyed banter. It's really taunting behavior at this point. Candace, listen, just tell them like this, honey, straight, no chaser. No tag teaming. You heifers need to sit separately. Gizelle, you need to fight your own battles. You do not need a bodyguard. Rob, okay? If she's getting into it as she get into it, then she'll be fine. I mean, just tell them like that. Just tell them straight up, honey, y'all don't do this foolishness. This is my trip. Okay, I'm not playing with y'all. The other lady stopped by the 7-Eleven because who wouldn't want a Slurpee? While they're riding back, Mia asked if they were worried about something popping off, right? They're like, no. So then Mia and her flip-flopping behind, she started lying as usual. You know, she get caught in a lie every single episode. She said, Gizelle called Wendy a weak witch. Leave it up to the producers to give a flashback confirmation. Wendy said, she called me a weak witch? She was like, yeah, she said something to that effect. Okay, now Mia, honey. It's giving weirdo at this point. Honey, I'm not a Gizelle fan, but she did not call Wendy anything. What she said was, what are you going to do? Crumble every time? Then you might not need to be a part of this group. Now, to me, that could be interpreted many ways. That could mean you that sensitive that you going to crumble every time somebody says something, or you need to get thicker skin. What's going to happen? You going to fold every time somebody says something about Eddie? I mean, you signed up for this. But you saying that she specifically said she was a weak witch, the lie detector determined, that was a lie. Child, I keep telling y'all, Mia got a little line problem and I ain't changing it, honey. I said what I said and I ain't changing it. The ladies get home, right? Candace calls to let Karen know, cocktail attire, no jeans, and I guess Gizelle didn't get the memo. But let me tell you something. Giselle was actually dressed properly yet again because they're downstairs at this table, buffet style. Child, I wish I would. So the ladies in the estate look like they're dressed for the cottage and the cottage is dressed for the estate. Child, this is just a fool. And Ascala, let me tell you something, babe. That red is your color, boo. Honey, you are giving in this dress. Honey, red is you. Over at the estate, the ladies are sitting down and they're about to get into it as they get into it. And the ladies from the cottage, they haven't made it there yet, right? So Mia, the entertainer, she's telling the girls about Suri and how she was getting close to Wendy. So they're discussing Wendy as usual, and the cottage queens walk in. So the chef is done preparing the food. It's buffet style. Honey, I wish I would get in cocktail attire for a buffet. One thing Gizelle gonna do, she gonna fill up that plate and she gonna eat no matter what. I think it calms her nerves. I think food is a comfort for Gizelle. Because child, she gonna get her plate. Candace does this little friendship toast, right? So Wendy was like, man, y'all so fake. So she does a little version of a toast for her, and it's involving men that don't cheat. Now, Wendy, let me tell you this. I wouldn't do that because the tables can always turn. But I mean, I'm with you on none of these heifers being friends, but at the same time, don't put all your eggs in one basket, honey. I'm not wishing cheatation on your relationship in the slightest. But I'm just saying, honey, these men can't be trusted, okay? I'm just saying, child. Make sure you don't speak too soon because then this confessional won't be aging well. Moving forward. Randomly, Robyn gets a call. Now, since when do they start answering calls at dinner? Now, they all sitting down to eat and Juan calls Robyn and she answers. She's like, hi, my non-existent partner, being all passive aggressive. He's like, what is that? She's like, our relationship is fake. He's like, yeah, whatever. She's like, yeah, it's non-existent, right? He's like, yeah, okay, call me back. Child, that is a mess. Girl, you better stop speaking those things into existence, honey. And Gizelle, okay? Wake up, child. This is high school. What Robyn just did, this passive aggressive mess, that is very much high school. Robyn, if you have something to say, honey, just say it. Also, side note, Juan gonna end a phone call if he don't do nothing else. Child, he ain't gonna never say I love you back. One time he tried to act like it was a bad connection. I don't know if y'all remember that season. He was like, what? It's cutting up. Boy, you hear her. If you don't want to say I love you back, just say that. But girl, you better stop speaking those things as though they were, okay? You think you having a moment and you think it's cute, but it's not giving what you thought it gave. Moving forward. After Robyn gets done playing on the phone, she asks Wendy if she was only ignoring Gizelle or if she was ignoring her too. She's like, no, I'm not ignoring you. That's a good question though. She's like, look, if in the course of me saying anything to Gizelle, I offended you, I apologize. Child, not if. Well, I mean, Robyn did insert herself and her braids into Gizelle's fight, honey. So you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. So Robyn is like, what? You took a personal dig at me. She's like, when we got engaged, you were the one that was clapping the loudest. So all that was fake. She was like, that was so quick. You were never really my friend. Wendy said, mm-hmm. Child, they be so unbothered, honey. Wendy said, listen, you have a right to feel however you want to feel. I'm not going to judge you on that. But the way that you have treated me this week, that's fake. Okay? Because my friends, we don't treat each other that way. Wendy did make a good point, though. She said, how do you feel that you can tell me that you're upset about what I'm saying, but when Gizelle talks about everybody's families and nobody says anything and you defend her? So that's not right. Honey, touche. Okay, you're going to defend your friend when she's talking about everybody's relationship and marriage, but you don't want nobody to put their mouth on yours. Honey, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Girl, you better get with it. Wendy said Robyn should be happy that I'm doing something for myself. So Robyn was like, I am. I just noticed a change in you, and I just wanted to make sure it was all good in the hood. Now, none of you heifers know what a hood is. So, okay. And Wendy was like, it's definitely all good in the hood. And she apologized again. But I'm trying to figure out, what are you apologizing for? So I was sitting back and I'm like, does she really owe Robyn an apology? But then I thought about it and I'm like, okay, well, all she asked was, what was the rumor? Even though she already knew what the rumor was, because quiet as it's kept, honey, the streets are saying that you are the one that brought the rumor to Wendy in the first place. So the fact that you were acting oblivious is probably what pissed her off. And then I said to myself, okay, Wendy is being the bigger person and letting it roll off her back. Okay, cool. Go ahead and apologize to Robyn, because your real beef is with Gizelle. Robyn is still in her feelings, so she said everything that Wendy's saying is fake and phony. Girl, goodbye. So Mia goes, all right, so can we talk about the real issue? Because your real issue is with Gizelle. Not Mia orchestrating the drama. Child, I cannot. So Wendy said, I want to know why when I left you called me a weak witch. Baby, the look on Gizelle's face, she was looking like, what? So then she hit us with a Portia. Who said that? Mia was like, you did. So then they flashed back. Honey, she definitely didn't say that. She said, I didn't say that. Mia said, oh, I interpreted it as you did. Lady, listen to me. Calling someone a weak witch is a very big statement, honey. We don't need the Mia interpretation. I don't think you know the meaning of words. And I'm starting to think you might, if I know you got a little lying problem, but it might be mixed with a little amnesia problem. Either way, we need an EKG, okay? Because something is just not right, honey. So Gizelle is like, just stop, Mia. So Mia and that hanging lip, they started child. So Candace steps in and she's like, she did not call you that. Mia said, well, then what did she call her? Candace said she didn't call her anything. So then she repeated exactly what Gizelle said. Wendy said, okay, Mia, just stop. Wendy said, whether you apologize or not, Gizelle, having his last name is vindication enough. Gizelle said, vindication for what? For who? Like, what are you saying? She's like, there's nothing that matters coming from you, Gizelle. Gizelle said, and I totally agree with you. Yes. Okay. I'm like, this is so stupid. Listen, Gizelle ain't even got it in her to fight no more, honey. She's like, okay, she ain't trying to get hit with no more of those bullets that you got in that bazooka, child. So Karen said, yes, you did it, Wendy. You're an inspiration. You really did the thing. You did that. Karen did what? So Gizelle said in her confessional, Wendy could have basically said she poops pink, and Karen would have said, oh my God. She's like, Karen, just shut it up. Karen said, Wendy, you're truly an inspiration. Child, all y'all crazy. Gizelle said, so Wendy, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. So Karen said, are y'all ready now? But they were thinking that they meant to have a conversation. The both of them were like, no, we are not ready. Karen said, no, I mean, are you ready to go? And then Gizelle said, oh yeah, good night and Godspeed. Child, and that was the end of the episode. Child, this is a mess, honey. Everybody fighting with everybody, and Mia lying and confused all the time. Ashley dropped the bomb and she went back home to be with her babies. So, child, I just really don't know. But that was the end of the episode. Comment down below and tell me exactly how you felt about the episode. Do you feel like Wendy did what needed to be done this episode? Because to me, I'm just going to keep it real. To me, quite frankly, I feel like Wendy didn't give much in the arena of reads. Now, that's just my opinion. Because, I mean, there's only so many times you can talk about this woman not having a relationship. Maybe she don't want one. I mean, I'm pretty sure that she does, but maybe she doesn't. Okay? So, I mean, we're going to have to come with something else. And we're going to have to get into it as we get into it. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.